I was sitting in my office and I listened as the tone and the pitch of the voices of my kids in the kitchen got louder and angrier. I could tell a fight was starting between my kids, and it was making it really hard for me to focus for the last few minutes of my focus session. Just a few seconds later, I heard the pitter patter of little feet and a few quick knocks on my door as my son said, "Dad, can you come here?" I smiled, I got up, and I went to go and deal with the fight and figure out what the big problem was. Turns out that two of my kids wanted the same colored bowl for their Cheerios. This is why I get up early, I thought to myself. You see, thankfully, I was just wrapping up my focus session when this happened, so I had already gotten everything done that morning that I needed to, and I could help out my kids without having to stress and be annoyed at not being able to finish my work. I have 4 kids, and like any group of 4 siblings, they sometimes fight. And by sometimes, I mean pretty much every day, and usually multiple times per day. They're good kids and all that, and they're learning how to better deal with their emotions and how to respond to challenging situations when dealing with their siblings and their differing personalities. And in their head, things like the color of their bowl really matters a lot. And who gets to feed the fish is a matter of life and death. So I used to get really frustrated because my focus time would frequently get interrupted by my kids. And even when I wasn't called on to directly deal with the situation, just hearing them fighting would distract me and it would make me want to go and resolve it. It's hard to stay focused with yelling right outside your door, and me getting frustrated usually turned into me scolding them, making them more upset and creating more chaos in the house. So, there were 2 changes that I made, and the second one is actually a more recent change that came from an idea that my wife had, and it has brought a lot more peace into our home. But before I get into that one, I want to talk about this first change for a bit. You see, kids are kids. They're learning, they're making mistakes, and they get frustrated. They don't know how to deal with their emotions yet. And as a dad, part of my job is to help them learn how to navigate all of those things well so that they can grow up and become well-adjusted and productive adults. However, when kids are involved, there's always going to be an element of unpredictability in your schedule. You just can't control it 100% when factoring in the care of children. One option is to get a babysitter who will watch and take care of the kids while you work. But that's expensive, and that is why the solution that worked so well for me was actually to just get up earlier. I wake up 2 hours before my kids do so that I can get my first 90-minute focus session of the day completed before they even get out of bed. Sleep is a great babysitter, and it's free. So wake up early and get your most important work done before the kids are even up, and you will feel much less stress while interacting with them during the rest of the day. In the story I told at the beginning, it actually felt great walking out the door to manage the fight between my kids because I knew I had already gotten my most important things for the day done before there was even a chance at interruption from my kids. Now, the second thing, like I said, is a more recent adjustment, but the early results from this adjustment have been really promising. You see, kids need 3 things to feel psychologically safe at home. They need autonomy, they need relatedness, and they need competence. Finding ways to help your kids feel all of those things more often will help them fight less. They will get along better, and your home will be more peaceful. Something that we have started doing recently is setting aside time to read together as a family before going to bed. This serves a couple of purposes. First, it helps the kids wind down a bit. It's a calming activity and it gets them ready to go to sleep. Second, it gives our older kids who can read a chance to exercise their skills and grow in that competence, one of those key psychological nutrients. Third, it helps them feel like they're part of the family. They feel that relatedness, that they are important to us and that our family is important to them, which is another key psychological nutrient that all of us need. And then finally, we give them some autonomy on what we read and what they can do during this time. The younger kids will usually pick a toy to quietly play with while listening to the story, and everybody provides input on what story we read. This gives them that third psychological nutrient of autonomy. This routine has really helped out our kids, and we have seen a noticeable decrease in the number and the severity of conflicts that arise during the day. It also helps me and my wife feel more love for our kids and enjoy their presence more. I promise you that if you have small children and you implement these two things, your mornings will go so much better. You will start your day with an incredible feeling of accomplishment, and it will make any other challenges you face that much easier to deal with. So share in the comments below what you have found helpful for having more productive mornings. And let me know how these tips end up working out for you. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share with somebody else.